Ani, Randy, Dojagnashi knows we now when she can the Schnabe knows and a Schnabe who come kung Binjaba, Doganing is Nakadek, Migize, Maba, Miss Nazaj and then do them. Most guy gish na casa, nos, mina line gish na casa, gashe. Gebehin go gi mazzo go en gi knomago, manda mego en way on the Schnabem. Paneshko abdeg ni Schnabem, pig go je bebiniga, win sustamot kandak, shashoga majajik. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Randy Trudeau. My Nishnabe Noswin is Turtle. I am from the Eagle clan. I am Odawa Anishinaabe from Wikwemikong. My father, I mentioned my father and my mother's name. We always introduced them also. That's where we come from. Na dishni ke bugosen mama bugjemnedo. Juga much time. Abdik pane kuidwaj mana mabugjemnedo kui me gochen ma na pane maba. Shkikish mompi kibijugade. مشكلة وش من داون مش عبدك بنيوي ويبسكنت توين من دا ويميكو تشن ماين ما بقجمن دو نها نام نيد باتان بنجي ما با ابيتن ماين جمن دو بنيوي بقو سن ممه جوي جيجدين جوي دباتشمين اغوندغو عبدك كوي ميكو تشن ما با Gemne doish na kazat. Nash need batan bekush. I would like to introduce the host, Phyllis Ellis, and who has been a supporter and an angel to Wingush for the past 19 years. She is a friend and a board member and instructor and a mountain mover alongside Wingush Film Institute and Film Festival founder, Dr. Shirley Chicho.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to our Wingush International Film Festival Awards ceremony. I'd like to extend a very warm welcome to everyone and to all of our amazing filmmakers. And on behalf of Artistic Director Dr. Shirley Chichu, we hope that you enjoyed our fantastic program of films representing Indigenous storytelling at its finest. Over the last couple of days, you've traveled through stories of love, of friendship, of family, human rights, social, political issues, and our endangered environment. We have acknowledged the voices that no longer can be heard while celebrating the voices of all of the amazing filmmakers in our festival. At WIFF, we support, encourage, and create the space for inclusion. We believe the filmmakers and their stories that you have experienced make a huge contribution toward expanding awareness and the importance of Indigenous stories and the contribution locally, provincially, nationally, and internationally. I almost forgot. My name is Phyllis Ellis, and I'll be your host for this evening's award presentation. Before we begin, please join me in thanking our public funders: Brock University, Indigenous Screen Office, FedNor, Telefilm Canada, and the Department of Canadian Heritage. We have many wonderful awards. Our first award is the Humanitarian Award. The Humanitarian Award recognizes an individual who actively engages in promoting welfare and social advancement of the community and youth. This year's recipient is the Dreamcatcher Foundation. The Dreamcatcher Foundation supplies grants to individuals with the goal of developing youth as future leaders in their First Nation communities. These grants were awarded in the areas of education, art and culture, sport and recreation, and medical.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Yvonne Jameson. I'm the Executive Director here at the Dreamcatcher Charitable Foundation. We at Dreamcatcher Charitable Foundation would like to thank Wingush International Film Festival for this prestigious humanitarian award for the work that was executed in the Bahamas during their time of tragedy. Just a bit of background information. In 2019, Hurricane Dorian was an extremely powerful and catastrophic Category 5 Atlantic hurricane, which became the most intense tropical cyclone on record to strike the Bahamas and tied for strongest landfall in the Atlantic basin. It was also regarded as one of the worst natural disasters in the Bahamas recorded history. When it was safe to enter the Bahamas, Dreamcatcher Charitable Foundation stepped up and donated an abundant amount of clothing, water, personal items, as well as food to those who had been affected by this devastating hurricane. At this time, we would sincerely like to thank all the businesses as well as the individual people who stepped up to donate to the Bahama relief. The people of the Bahamas were ever so grateful for our thoughtfulness, and Dreamcatcher will continue to strive to help out those in need to the best of our ability on a continual basis for years to come. We can encourage all to make a difference wherever we can. This award is proudly going to be displayed in our office for all to see, and we want to thank the International Film Festival so much for this prestigious award. Nyaugoa.
This year we have 2 humanitarian awards. The humanitarian awards winners actively demonstrate compassion through their work by creating solutions that follow Wingush's vision of making dreams a reality. Our second humanitarian award goes to Tom Rankin. Born in Kirkland Lake, Rankin worked as a development and construction engineer for the Ontario Department of Highways and the cities of Niagara Falls and St. Catharines in the 60s and 70s. In 1978, he launched the company that would become Rankin Construction Incorporated, and it has continued to grow ever since. But as much as Rankin Construction is synonymous with major civil projects, the man behind the brand has had just as much impact on the community. Rankin has often been recognized for his professional accomplishment and his philanthropic work, and his tremendous contribution to Wingush Film Institute.
And the winner of the Humanitarian Award from St. Catharines, Ontario goes to Thomas Rankin.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this great honor. I have to thank my friend, Shirley Chichu, for, I'm sure, considering me worthy of this award. On this Canada Day, we have to reflect on the happenings, the horrible happenings in our residential schools, and we have to mourn as a nation. But going forward, we have to try to make restitution in some small way, and one suggestion I have at least to provide in our reservations potable, clean drinking water and decent, adequate housing for Indigenous people. That's the least we can do as a nation. Thank you very much for this award.
Clearing Pathway Award. The Clearing the Pathway Award is presented to a person who has taken bold steps to improve diversity and inclusion through an innovative approach that promotes and provides stifled youth voices in mainstream media, following the mission of Wingush Film Institute. This award goes to Cynthia Wesley Eskimo. Cynthia is a member of the Chippewa of Georgina Island First Nation. She is the former Vice Provost at Lakehead University in Thunder Bay. Cynthia is an honorary witness for the Truth and Reconciliation Commission in Canada and a member of the Governing Circle for the Truth and Reconciliation at the University of Winnipeg. Congratulations.
Hi, Cynthia Wesley Eskimo coming to you from the Chippewas of Georgina Island First Nation, and I want to send my thanks and gratitude to the to Shirley and to all of the people at Wingush for the Clearing the Path Award for the Wingush International Film Festival. It's a great honor to be able to be recognized by the wonderful people on Manitoulin Island and where my mother was from. And I want to just say thank you again. I don't have the award in my hands. My husband has it in Aurelia and I'm on Georgina Island, so I didn't get a chance to actually even see it, but I know that I was supposed to get this film to you. So I just want to thank you and tell everybody that I'm so excited for Wingush. They've done such an incredible job over the years. The fact that they're still going strong is just a testament to the people that actually work there and support this wonderful initiative. So I'm very pleased to be a part of it. I was at one point a part of it by being on the board, but I'm not right now, but I still am very much supportive of all of the work that you do and all of the wonderful people that are a part of that work. So thank you again, and I hope to see you guys sometime in the summer if we can possibly get past this pandemic and we can visit in person. So take care and stay safe, everybody, and thank you again for this wonderful honor.
The Josh Yes No Tribute Award honors the memory of Wingush Film Institute's highest achieving student who overcame adversity and lived a good life. The award recipient is recognized as an individual who exemplifies empathy for the struggles of Indigenous youth and has achieved great strides in the advancement of youth by providing opportunities to those whose voices are stifled in mainstream media. This award goes to Barb Cramner. Barb is a documentary filmmaker from Alert Bay in British Columbia. She is president of the Indigenous Art Service Organization in British Columbia and belongs to the Umista Cultural Society and the Tasala Cultural Group. She has been filmmaking since 1980 and has co-produced, written, and directed several documentaries, winning several awards. Congratulations, Barb.
Qila kasla nukong pui molasa kaya la khamamala khadluda numqis qila kasa kaya nakula khad oida gusa numqis segano wa smulas la kus wit we khustok iya ginaqtesan tluqnuktano wa siginok tamqas iya ginaqtes qadana khapa qoma or walas isnini de quigidas wotles mis malas qila kas khata kus la kus Guy, the Weekend Film Festival. Lord had a Joshua Yes No Tribute Award. My name is Vera Newman. I'm the mother of Barbara Cranmer. We're very thankful and we're very proud of her receiving this Joshua Yes No Tribute Award from the I hope I say it right, Wingush for International Film Festival. We're very proud of the work Barbara did. She was a trailblazer in telling our stories of our people, our Bakwam people. So we're really proud of and honored that you would recognize her work, and we're very grateful to you. We're so grateful. Je mis nog ten ris om de mensen nog waar. Gas niet wat genoeg als een sasem. Hij met hier wat ik in schreeuwen te gaan genoeg zijn. Ik wist dat het was zo dat nog geen squat niet. And we're gonna sing our river song. My youngest daughter said in one of her presentations that my daughter's work will flow forever and be remembered, just like our Nipkiss River is gonna flow forever. Ia-hia, ah-hia, ia-hia. Qila kasla, qila kasla, qila kasla.
Special Recognition Builder. Our special builder recognition goes to someone who builds on our local Manitoulin community that has supported Wingishk in more ways than one, and we couldn't be more thankful. Peely Winery has helped with funding the festival, ensuring growth from the beginning. Thank you again, Peely Winery, for all of your help and support over the years. Special Recognition Award. The Special Recognition Award is to celebrate the extraordinary accomplishments of a person who is successful in the arts and devoted their life to the community. Dr. Scott Henderson is one such person. Scott is the new Dean and Head of Trent University, Durham. He has been an extraordinary support to WFI for a number of years, and we're very honored to have Scott receive the Special Recognition Spirit Award. Thank you, Scott.
I'm honored and deeply humbled to be the recipient of this Spirit Award from the Wingishk International Film Festival. While I wish that we could all be gathering in person and that I could be back in the very special place that is Manitoulin Island, I'm also glad that we remain safe and healthy, and I know I'll see all of you at next year's festival. There are many people I'd like to thank for honoring me with this award. First, a big thank you to artist Russell Noganosh for his creation of this beautiful carving. Thanks to all of those on the island and beyond who've supported this festival over the past 4 years. Your love of film and your support of these many wonderful filmmakers does not go unnoticed. Of course, I need to thank everyone associated with Wingishk, and in particular the students. It was meeting a group of Wingishk students at Cinefest Sudbury that first alerted me to the wonderful things happening here on Manitoulin. I was amazed by their vision and poise, and could tell that these were voices that needed to be heard. I've continued to be inspired by each conversation I've had with students and by each film that I've seen them create. These students have also benefited from the mentorship of the whole Wingishk team, particularly Nano Debasage, whose filmmaking expertise combined with the compassion he has for his students is truly remarkable. And I have to note, additionally, his ability to navigate the back roads of the island while simultaneously opening a package of licorice with a hunting knife, that should not go unrecognized. But my biggest thanks go to Shirley Chichu. Her many awards and accolades, including the Order of Canada, do not even come close to properly honoring this remarkable woman. Every single day, Shirley reminds us of what resilience looks like. Her passion for the work she does, her commitment to making sure that every student who arrives at Wingishk is given the tools to succeed on their journey, and her tireless advocacy to make sure Wingishk has the funding to remain viable and to continue to produce the outstanding grads it has over the years has been utterly impressive. It seems impossible to adequately put into words the impact that Shirley has had on so many lives. It's simply an honor to know her and to call her my friend. There are hundreds of Indigenous children's voices that we will never get to hear, and this should both sadden and anger us. It should also remind us to listen even more closely to the voices we do hear. Our youth have so much to say, They have their stories that need to be told and that long to be shared. Your support of Wingush and the work being done at the Film Institute and being shown at this festival is a vital part of this journey. To be receiving this honor from those organizing the festival is a truly humbling experience. I will treasure this forever. Thanks to all of you. See you next year, and Chimigwech.
Special Recognition Merit. Our last Special Recognition Award goes to Neil Dubosky. The Merit Special Recognition goes to a person whose work performance is outstanding and has shown successful achievements in their film business. Neil has been the principal of Lakeview School in Chaging First Nation for over 10 years. Neil has always been a vital part of the Chaging community and the WFI community. His work has made Manitoulin Island a better place and has changed the film industry for the better. Thank you, Neil.
Congratulations.
Miigwech for that. Wow, it's a privilege and an honor. On behalf of Fuel the Fire TV, our pro staff and our production staff, we humbly accept this award from Wingush. I want to thank a few people, especially HBD Design here in Chaging and Wingush, the Wingush team in particular. They've helped us to become the first and only First Nation owned and produced television program on a hunting and fishing network in Canada. It's been 5 years in the making. We've been working exceptionally hard. Our pro staff puts in a ton of time, and our production crew also matches that in terms of their time on task. So with that being said, and on behalf of the crew again, Chimigwech to Wingush International Film Festival for this award. We accept it with humility. Miigwech.
The Award of Excellence goes this year to Jennifer Podensky. An Award of Excellence recognizes those who have distinguished themselves as outstanding advocates of the Indigenous nation. They are trailblazers, locally, nationally, and internationally, by inspiring and instilling culture of excellence in promoting Indigenous arts, which has led to the enhancing of voices of young Indigenous youth. Jennifer is an award-winning film and television producer, director, writer, and actor, and founded Red Cloud Studios in 2005. Jennifer trains Aboriginal youth in film and television, mentoring and holding self-esteem workshops across Canada. Congratulations, Jennifer.
Well, thank you very much for this amazing honor. I received this in the mail the other day, and it's beautiful. I am very honored to receive the Award of Excellence, specifically from Wingush, because I have been inspired my entire career by Shirley Chichu and everything that she does and has done. I have been so blessed to have had experiences up close with Shirley, watching her process, and there have been times that I have felt at the end of my journey as a creator and producer and actor, and something that Shirley has done or said has lifted me out of despair. She's really a warrior and a champion, and the fact that she continues to create incredible opportunities for our community and our storytellers is a big reason why I'm here today thanking Wingush Film Festival for this Award of Excellence. I'm very sad that it's not in person. I love this festival, and I can't wait to get back there to Manitoulin Island to celebrate with all the incredible filmmakers. I want to dedicate this to all of the family members and relatives and relations, not just mine, but all of ours, who never got to tell their story. That's why we're here. We are here as the storytellers to speak the truth and to uplift and inspire and educate. And I'm very grateful to have been blessed with a task so important in life. Here's to all the storytellers. Miigwech.
A medicine bundle contains elements to support someone's ability to heal, perceive, and have protection against unseen energies. A person would use or carry medicines for special intentions, and these medicines move our consciousness and help to heal our being. This year's medicine bundle goes to June Kawachigan, who came from a very stressful job as a police officer, went on to Sundance, and now helps other people toward healing. She's been given this medicine bundle to continue her own personal healing and to protect her as she supports others on their healing journey.
Okay, on behalf of the Wingish International Film Festival, I'm presenting this to my daughter June, who has earned this bundle of medicine bundle and all the stuff that she's done over the years, helping people, and continues on in her career. Hopefully. Anyways. I would like to present this fabric to you so you can keep on with your medicine that you're doing, the healing, and all of that. I give you, thank you, Mom. And I sent this, take a picture of this. You see it? Anyways, so I'm presenting this bundle also to my daughter, and I hope that she uses it wisely in a very good way, helping people, like I said. I congratulate her for being the recipient this year for the medicine bundle.
There's a bunch of medicines in here. A little smudge. Tiny little bannock. Casing. I want to say speech. I'm not very good at speeches. I'm the one who's standing behind my sister and say, yeah, what she said. Or used to call in sick in high school just so I can get out of the public speaking. Sorry, Mom. It's an honor to receive this. Life is very challenging. And for me, I went through a lot of traumatic experiences. I'm sure a lot of us did. And what kept me going, striving forward, and it just happened to be the same thing, is what my mom went through, my granny went through, the residential school, how they survived, their strength, their courage, their will, their hope was what kept them going. So every time I fall down, I take a step back and I look at what my mom and my granny went through, and that would brush myself off and continue on. I know my mom, the love she gave me, how safe and secure I felt, was also a big part of my life. And I hope other parents do that same thing too with their children. Make them feel safe, make them feel loved. And a big thing too also is forgiveness. Even though it may be the hardest thing to ever overcome, is forgiveness. Then once you forgive, they can't take away your energy. That's your energy. You keep it. If you continue to dwell on negative stuff, it's just wasted energy. So stay positive, enjoy life, live life. Thank you, Mom. You deserve it.
The first award is for Best Documentary. The Best Documentary is Revolution Moosehide. Congratulations. It's a film about the cultural resurgence, journey by learning the practice of moosehide tanning. You can watch this film under the traditional film series, Eventive.
Hello. We're so happy to be presenting Revolution Moosehide at the Weengush Festival, and really deeply honored to have received an award. So thank you so much. This is a really lovely carving, and I just wanted to say deep thank you to the festival and the festival team who have been really lovely with us. When Mila and I set out to make this film, we thought it would be about one high tanning workshop, but it really morphed into a story about how high tanning and being on the land became so important and transformational in people's lives. So we'd like to dedicate these screenings to everyone out there tanning hides and learning and living culture. Much respect. So thank you again, and I will send it over to Mila to say a few words. Thanks.
Masi Weengush International Film Festival for the award. We're very proud of Revolution Moosehide. I'm gonna give a big shout out and Masi Cho to my Hide or Dies, Mandy McDonald and Tanya Larson, who's also featured in the film, all of our elders, mentors, and our teachers. And yeah, this is very honored. And yeah, Masi Cho for including Revolution Moosehide in the festival, and I hope everybody loved and enjoyed the story. Masi.
Best Short Film. The Best Short Film Award goes to The Healing Dance. The Healing Dance is about a young Anishinaabe girl named Rosie who is preparing to dance in her first powwow, learning the origin and strength. You can watch this film under the Who They Were series on Eventive.
Wow, Chimegwech to the Weengush International Film Festival for this award. It really means a lot. I'd love to take a moment to thank our wonderfully talented cast for taking part in this project and helping me bring this story to life. Nicole Cardinal, Kailani Austin, Monica Benson, and Douglas Trelaw. Miigwech. I'd also love to take a moment to thank our absolutely wonderful, brilliant, hardworking, talented crew for everything that they've done in bringing this project to life on the screen. We had a short window to do this project, and everyone came together and worked so hard, and it paid off. I absolutely adore this film, and that is a lot to do because of all of your hard work. I also want to take a moment to thank my community of Saugeen First Nation. Thank you for always being available to answer any questions that I have, and for always cheering me on in my role and work as a writer and a filmmaker. I was someone who grew up not knowing a whole lot about my Anishinaabe background, so to have the opportunity now to learn these stories and share them with the world, but more importantly with young Anishinaabe youth, it really means a lot to me. And so for this film to get this kind of recognition, it's gonna hold a special place in my heart for a long time. So Chimagwech, once again, thank you for this award.
Best Feature Film. The Best Feature Film is Parallel Minds. Parallel Minds is a story about a world of truth and vision pitted against a world of greed and ego, and where the past must free the future. You can watch this film under Future Feature Series.
Hello, and Mercy Portuntan. I'm Benjamin Ross Hayden, director and writer of Parallel Minds, and it's with great honor on behalf of the entire cast and crew to accept the award for Best Feature Film at the Wingush International Film Festival. And when filming Parallel Minds, we always held in a circle to ask our ancestors to help us tell this story. Part of Parallel Minds is the story of Kokum, played by the late Wilma Pelly. Kokum had the bravery to escape from residential school and to be an anchor of hope and be a lifeline for the future generation that we're in now to stop the control from happening. That's what these children and the survivors of the trauma of residential schools have done for the future against colonialism and the invented system of control. Like a residential school or an apparatus of the future, they will never speak for the spirit and will never take it away. And here in Alberta, in July of 2021, the fires of anger have burned and the tears are raining from the sky, and it's for them. But this award is really for the 1,323 children. This award is for the survivors. This award is for the late Wilma Pelly. Your bravery was the strongest work of all. Thank you. Nikishti Detain.
Best Actor. Best Actor goes to Justin Rain for Brother I Cry. Justin portrayed John, a young First Nations man struggling to overcome addiction and avoid the multiple warrants out on him. But he has several strong women in his corner: his girlfriend, his sister, his mother, and his unborn daughter. They are all hoping he can master his demons. Congratulations, Justin. The Best Director award goes to Courtney Montour. Courtney Montour directed Married 2 Acts Early, I Am Indian Again. It's a spectacular film about activist and feminist Mary 2 Acts Early, who fought for 2 decades to amend the portions of the Indian Act that revoked women's Indigenous rights status if she married a non-status Indian. It's a spectacular film, and congratulations, Courtney.
Nyamagoa to the Wingush Festival for this award. It's so incredible to see Mary being honored in this way, and that her name and her legacy is being recognized across Canada. It's so important to remember her words and the work that she's already paved the way for as we continue to work to bring sex equality to all First Nations women in this country. I'd especially like to thank, of course, Mary's family and Nellie Carlson's family and Jody Callahan Stonehouse and Isabella, who all came together to be in the film and bring Mary's story out. And as well, all of the support across Canada from people assisting in finding archives and sharing stories of Mary, and also everyone at the NFB, including my producer Kat Ballou, and the whole team behind the film, including my editor Annie Jean, Sylvain Defoe, the director of photography, Marie-Pierre Grenier, sound design, Cara Blake, who did our visual effects and did the beautiful, beautiful poster that honors Mary Two Acts Early, and of course the incredible music by our composers Alaska B and Ange Loft, and Melody McIver, who brought the viola to the music as well. So altogether, it was so important to have all that support surrounding Mary Two Acts Early story, and of course to Eleni Sobomswin for caring for Mary's words and for sitting with her and recording and caring for these recordings after all these years, so that we now have this opportunity for Mary to share her own story in her own words, and we have a chance as a whole to continue to learn from Mary. Nyawa.
In closing tonight, we would like to congratulate all of our award winners and all of the films and filmmakers that participated in this year's Wingishk International Film Festival. I'd also like to take a moment to personally thank Artistic Director and Founder Dr. Shirley Chichu, who is an inspiration to so many people all over the world. I would also like to thank the Wingishk International Film Festival Board of Directors, Nano Dubosky, Jonathan Zagula, Jasmine Panashish, and Linda Erskine, and our amazing staff and volunteers. We look forward to seeing you next year in person at the Wingishk International Film Festival 2022. Have a wonderful evening. Congratulations to all of our award winners. Very well deserved. Spectacular films, excellent work. To close our award show, we have some exciting news. Dr. Shirley Chichu has asked me to announce that for our 2022 festival, we'd like to invite you all to join us in person on Manitoulin Island and experience the films, the concerts, the workshops together. With 2022 will be a celebration of Indigenous women, and the title, Right from the Womb, centered on women's filmmakers, women's films, showcasing and hearing their music and to learn of their stories. Please join us in person on Manitoulin Island, July 8, 9, and 10, 2022. Well, here we are, and with our final conversation of our 2021 Wingdish International Film Festival. And it's such a great pleasure to have that conversation with filmmaker Sonia Boulot and her beautiful film, an important film, Rustic Oracle. Welcome, Sonia. It's so wonderful to have this opportunity to be in conversation with you.
Thank you for having me. I'm happy to be here.
The film is hits us on so many levels. What was your thought process in when you started to develop the film, and what was the genesis of the story for you in development while you were developing and sort of putting the idea together for the script?
Yeah. Well, many years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, I actually wanted to make a documentary on missing and murdered Indigenous women. And I wanted it to be for another broadcaster other than APTN, because I wanted to get this message out to the rest of the world. And there was a lot of doors closed. Not that many broadcasters or funders were interested at that point in time. And then after that, I made a feature film called Le Dep. And when I made that film and I traveled with that film, I realized how like the wider reach that you can get with this scripted fiction, because you're actually there's people that are not necessarily in it for like the themes, the Indigenous themes. They're in it to, for the story, or for, they read the synopsis and they're interested. So, and then when you hook them in with the story and you create that empathy with the characters, then they're interested in all the subtext. And I thought, okay, well, if I did that with Le Dep without even knowing, maybe this is what I should do for this subject. Maybe it should be a fiction based on true stories, of course, but like, so I basically took 3 or 4 true stories that I kind of blended into one, and I thought, okay, that way I'm going to create this scripted story, but I'm going to cast my net wider to a non-Indigenous audience and get them by the heart, like grab on their strings and say, listen, this is what's going on, and if you care for these people, then you should care in real life, So that's kind of how it started, and my partner comes from Kitigan Zibi, which is a community about an hour and a half northwest of where I am right now. And in 2008, there's 2 teenagers that went missing from his community. And I didn't know them personally, Shannon Alexander and Maisie Ojic, but I saw what it did to that community and I saw what it did to those families. So they were really, it's that community and those girls that I had in my heart, like the entire time that I was writing. Yeah.
You, especially with Ivy, you explore sort of visions and dreams and memory, and how did you come to kind of find that rhythm, especially for a young person?
Yeah, Ivy was key to the story from the get-go. I think there's something very beautiful, obviously beautiful about childhood, but telling a story through a child's perspective, it allowed me to have playful moments, to have hopeful moments, to have a little bit of light here and there in this like dark story. And I've always been fascinated by how like dreams influence our emotions, but can actually influence our actions. And so I kind of just wrote that in. I almost took it out, honestly, at some point in one of the versions of the script, because it does at some point kind of pull us away from the main story. But then I brought it back in because I like the oracle aspect of it in a way, right? We're not really sure for a while if she's seeing what's going on, is she seeing into the future, or are they memories from her past? So I've always been fascinated about that, and so having Ivy as this beautiful vehicle, I just kind of encompassed that and put that all together.
It's a very interesting title. I mean, I've read a little bit about, kind of what you say about it, but could you share with our audience the meaning of the title
Yeah.
and how you came to it?
Yeah, well, rustic oracle is actually a poetic term for dandelions. And in the film, there's a whole metaphor with flowers. Every character, I don't know if anyone noticed this, but the characters, their names are all flowers. And there's something about growing, coming of age, blooming, all that with ivy. But also specifically the dandelion. The dandelion is magical. Like it not only can carry your childhood memories into the wind, you can make a wish and blow blow on the dandelion. It's the most powerful flower. The roots, it has the strongest roots. It can grow anywhere, and it has medicinal powers. You can eat it. It cures disease. And yet, as a society, apparently we've decided that it was a weed that we need to get rid of, that we need to, not only cut, but actually try to get to the bottom of the roots and take it out of the ground. So to me, there was a bit of like a metaphor in that sense, where what society has choose to view something a certain way without seeing the true value of what that is. So there's a bit of a metaphor with Indigenous women in society, how Indigenous women are perceived versus how strong and beautiful and full of medicine we are, so that was, and the other aspect of rustic oracle was, like I said earlier, Ivy's dreams that we're not really sure if they're visions or if they're memories.
When they sort of set out on their journey, on their kind of to province road trip, how difficult was it for you to balance the sort of the youthful and sort of aspirational sort of hope and transformation, and yet the reality of what was possibly the outcome? How did you find, did you balance that in the writing? And two, how did you balance that as a filmmaker when you were actually making the film?
Mm-hmm. That was actually quite the struggle in both writing and in production, because you don't want it to be, full of joy and happiness, because it's not a happy story. So what I did both in the writing, but especially with Lake, who plays Ivy, because she was so intuitive, is I let those moments exist. So even in the script, I had breathing moments that I knew that once we were in shooting, I would let those moments be, so they felt authentic. So it didn't feel like I was placing happy or joyful moments. It was just a kid being a kid. And that's what kids do. They, even in dire situations, they're still in survival mode and in the present moment. And if they find something funny in that moment, they'll laugh at it, even though deep down, it's hard. But it's also a defense mechanism. If they see their mother struggling, sometimes they'll, it's actually, a survival mechanism to find something that would make them smile, to find a cute flower, to find something to hang on to bring a little bit of joy, because that's what their kids are so resilient. We don't give them enough credit. And so they'll find moments where they can be happy, even when the overall situation is not a happy one. So I guess the balance came from letting Lake play out some of the scenes. We let the camera roll and we let her just be naturally her. And that allowed for a good balance, where it doesn't come off as over the top joyful when it shouldn't be, but still, in a kid's world, basically.
Yeah. How did you approach the casting process for you?
That was quite the process. We opened the casting like nationally, but I was so happy to find like Lake in my backyard, basically. And we had a top 5 of little girls that were really, really good. But Lake had something that none of the other girls had, and was that ability to play off of what the other person was giving her when we were auditioning. I think a lot of times kids will rehearse with their parents, and then they'll just deliver that version and they can't really open up to another version on the fly. And Lake was just playing, and if the person was like mad, she'd react with that energy, she'd feed off that energy. And that's really amazing. She was 9 at the time. But then for me, the most important thing was to make sure that I spoke with her mom. Her mom was like my best ally during the entire shoot, because I'd speak to her and see where Lake was at on a certain day and how far I could go. If she was tired, if this scene might be too hard, should we have a conversation first? So her mom was really, it was really important for me to create that relationship way before shooting. So we started like hanging out in March and we shot in July, just to create that bond, that confidence, that trust. And also it gave me a way of like, okay, what can I say? How much of the story does she need to know? And that I played out with her mom, basically, to determine how much she needed to know in every scene, basically.
And did you find at all that she pretty much got it all, even though you didn't have to say?
I think so. Well, even though she was 10, she had just turned 10 when we started shooting. Her mom told me she understands missing and murdered Indigenous women. They have a girl who was murdered in their community in Ganawage, Tiffany Morrison. And she knew about that. She knows the family. She understands the issue. So I think maybe some of the things that relate to the dreams were maybe not, fully explained or clear, and that was fine. She was a bit young to get all that, but she understood that it's a huge issue in this country, well, in North America, and that Heather, who's played by Mackenzie, she's not the first and not the last to go missing. And even those scenes where Ivy is crying, like when she runs out of the motel and she's crying, she was in tears. She was bawling because she was able to put herself in the shoes of someone who lost their sibling. And that wasn't acting, like she was like, literally, she put herself in that position before we started shooting. She had a conversation with her mom and she just went out and cried her eyes out. So it was, which made me cry, because then I realized that I made a kid cry, and that made me feel absolutely awful. But after that, she was fine. She wiped her tears, and there was something very, it was a healing process in a way, in those moments. There's something cathartic about letting that go, and even for her when she's just 10. Yeah.
How do you, as a filmmaker, hold cast and crew through these difficult story, for this particularly difficult story? And how do you hold everyone, and then who holds you? Because you're carrying the burden of the story and the filming of, but that stays with you, I imagine, for quite some time. So how did you hold, and who held you through the process?
That's such a beautiful question. I'm almost like emotional. Honestly, I think the fact that I shot it in my community with people in my community, it was shot in Ganassadage with Ganassadage Rono. It was like a very, it felt like a community project. Like we were together telling this story. I actually had one of the people that I worked with from the very beginning is from my community, and she lost her sister, and she's a huge missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls advocate. Ironically, she was the one that held me together, I think, because we made sure that everyone, cast and crew, felt like they were in this beautiful like bubble, like a blanket, and it felt that way. We allowed ourselves those moments, like the hard days. If Carmen Moore, who plays Susan, if she broke down or if I broke down, we allowed that space. Like, okay, we're breaking for 10 minutes. Let's cry our eyes out. Let's have that moment. And the crew and the rest of the cast were super respectful. And then I think my community took care of my crew and my cast. So it's like an envelope within an envelope within an envelope. But Cheryl McDonald is the person who personally, I think, took care of me, which is very ironic because she's the one who lost someone, and there were a few days where it was really, really hard, and I had a hard time like moving forward. And Lake's mom, her name's Cookie, she said, "Don't worry, because the women are here with us. They're here and they're helping us tell this story." And when she said that, that was quite comforting, because I was like, you know what, you're right. They're here and they are also holding us, and helping us tell that story. So it was a very, it felt very safe, and it felt like the process of making the film for me is even more important than the outcome and the success or the reach that the film has had. It was, making it was so, it changed me, basically. It was a really amazing experience.
Well, thank you very much for making it. Last two questions. One is, so the audience, we watch the movie. What is your hope that we receive, and what is the teaching really for the audience? What do you want us to receive and know
I think,
stand in the truth of it?
Yeah, I think I have two different, I don't want to say messages, but there's two things that I want to convey, and it depends on if the audience is an Indigenous audience or a non-Indigenous audience. And I think when I was making it and I was thinking of our communities receiving this film, that's why it ends with that positive message that older Ivy delivers to her daughter. I wanted to end it with hope and to celebrate the strengths and to celebrate the moms, the moms that are still fighting for justice and for their families and their daughters, and to see how beautiful, Indigenous women are and how strong. So there's that message. And then obviously for the non-Indigenous audience, there's a bit of like awareness and education that comes with the film. I didn't want it to feel like it's a PSA or anything like that. I wanted the audience to feel for families, like literally feel, develop your empathy and feel for these families, and understand that it can happen to anyone. And what would you do if it happened to you? It just happens to us in ridiculous amount of numbers. So can you please now feel and understand our pain, and can you now be an ally? So I guess those were the two messages that I didn't plan out on saying, but that was my hope when I was making the film.
And so what's next for you?
I actually just finished writing my first drama series, and it's going into production in September, which is in my mind tomorrow. Crazy busy with that. And it's really exciting because it's the first drama series in Quebec that is written, produced, directed, and starring Indigenous people in French. Quebec is a little slow in making room for Indigenous creators on screen. So that's really exciting. And it's a great collaboration too, because there's a lot of non-Indigenous actors as well. So I see this also as a beautiful bridge, like a cinematic bridge that we're building between the Francophone non-Indigenous and the Francophone Indigenous communities in this series. So I'm looking forward to diving into that. And then after this project, I think I want to write a comedy. I need to write something light and fluffy because my heart is just like, yeah, it's heavy. These stories are heavy. But they need to be told. They need to be there. And now that they're there, I feel like, okay, now let's laugh a bit now.
Yeah, I always say, when you make documentary films or narrative films about, social and political issues, and then there's comedy. So I always say we make socially conscious and socially unconscious projects. And I think we need to all spend a little time in the socially unconscious space, just to be, for our own healing and our own sense of being.
Exactly.
But I want to thank you very much. It's a beautiful film and important.
Thank you.
So, for being in conversation with us today, and thank you so much for sharing your film with this year. It was really an important addition to the and a wonderful way to close the festival.
Thank you, Nyawagoa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. So thank you very much, Sonia. And as I said, the Rustic Oracle is a film that every person in Turtle Island needs to see, and if not the world. It's a beautiful film and an important film. At this time, I would like to introduce Tina Keeper, who will give us our closing keynote. Tina is a Cree actor, film producer, and former member of Parliament. And we're honored and extremely fortunate to have Tina join us at our festival. And at this time, I'd like to introduce to everyone, Tina Keeper.
Anine, how are you? I am so happy that we got to see all of these films over these past few days. It is an amazing, amazing group of creators. So congratulations, everybody. And I have to say that this was a real, very, very uplifting and important time for this film festival. So I really, really am so, it's very, very, it's very hard to articulate how important it is for us to honor the filmmakers and to encourage and support filmmakers. And I really, really see how particularly important it is and how effective it is for us to continue telling our stories and for institutions like Wingush to support filmmakers and to support artists and creators. And I think that there is no other time that it can be even said that it seems as important that the incredible history, the incredible amount of knowledge, the incredible amount of tenacity and determination and vision, all of these things have been very, very critical in making this happen, and it is so timely. So I am so grateful for this film festival, and I had a wonderful time watching the films, and I hope that you did too. I would like to take the opportunity as well to once again thank Wingush and thank Shirley Chichu, Dr. Shirley Chichu, and Adam Moffat and their team for making this possible and for sharing these stories internationally. And I know with this virtual platform that it is different this year, but it has a reach and it does have an impact that is really significant and very different than a regular venue or format of a film festival. And I think that works too. So I, once again, just congratulate everybody. I thank everybody. I honor the work that you've done, and I honor Wingush for making this film festival happen. And it was my honor to participate. Kitchimigwach, Agase, I'm Tina Keeper, and we will catch up with you next year.
Thank you so much, Tina. We're very honored to have you at our festival, and we will keep your words in our hearts as we look forward to our 2020 Wingush International Film Festival. What an amazing weekend. And I certainly had the pleasure to be in conversation with so many extraordinary filmmakers and their films. And we want to let you know that if you want to watch any of the Q&As or revisit or join or have a look at any of the workshops that we provided to you this weekend, you can access those on our Facebook page, or with Facebook page. One of the, it's always difficult when we're not in person. And one of the wonderful things about having a Q&A in person is the audience is there, the audience has experienced the film, and you get to be, in the space with someone's energy when you're, experiencing someone in person. But the most amazing thing about what we've been able to do with these Q&As is, speaking to people all over Turtle Island and just the accessibility. So that's one of the wonderful things that we've been able to do with this festival is to have so much outreach and to be in conversation with someone who's in Alberta or Burbank, California. It's just been such a pleasure. I mean, it's hard to even sort of single out any one of the conversations because I found them all to be so thoughtful and inspiring and informational. And, each one of these films has made such a huge contribution to communities and conversations, both documentary films and the narrative films that have been part of the festival. I know, Dr. Shirley Chichu, we have, people that win categories, and I know that she feels very strongly that every single filmmaker and every film that was contributed to the festival is such a huge part of the success of what makes with such a wonderful community-based experience. And it's also really wonderful because at Wingush Institute, Film Institute, we have so many young filmmakers that have this amazing access to experienced mid-career and new filmmakers that are sort of forging their way into the industry. And it's wonderful for young our young Indigenous and diverse filmmakers to have the opportunity to witness so many extraordinary films and also to hear the experience of the filmmakers. We also hope that you join us next year with 2022 when the film festival will be dedicated to women. Women's films, women filmmakers, women writers, women creators, women musicians, and the impulse, and I believe the title, but I'm not sure, Be Stories from the Womb. And Dr. Shirley Chichu wanted me to share that with you all. And we hope that you will be joined in person next year where we can experience the banquet and the gala and all of the films and the Q&As and the musicians all in person on beautiful Manitoulin Island. And hopefully all of the filmmakers will be able to join us and we'll all be there in person. And that would be wonderful. If we can certainly look forward to that. If you hadn't had a chance to see the films, there's lots of opportunity for you to see the films online. And you can continue to screen all of the films that were programmed. I believe they're available on our Facebook page as well. And our closing film, Rustic Oracle, was a important and timely, an important film to close our festival. It speaks to so many conversations that we're having now, and in both Indigenous and non-Indigenous communities, and it's a wonderful way to have the film close. And at this time, I have the great pleasure of introducing our closing night performer, Leonard Summer, who's an Anishinaabe singer-songwriter whose music blends aspects of country, folk, and hip-hop. And he's a member of the Little Saskatchewan First Nation in Manitoba. And our elder, Randy Trudeau, will end the festival with a closing prayer. And we thank Elder Randy Trudeau for his incredible knowledge that he has shared with us and shared with the Wingish International Film Festival 2021. Thank you for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next year. Miigwech.
Bonjour and then away my Ghana duck Leonard Sumner the indigenous Kaj Kagish Kakamagak and Duganjina Bay Indigo. My name is Leonard Sumner. I am from the Little Saskatchewan First Nation located in the heart of the Interlake of Manitoba, and that's where I am right now, in a little trailer on the land that I grew up on. And yeah, I'm just gonna sing you guys some songs today. You know, maybe tell a little bit of stories and a little bit about the songs. This first one I'm gonna sing was written after what was going on in Minneapolis last year with George Floyd. It's called From the Ashes, but it's also about the balance of life because the second verse is about my daughter's birth, who was born March 3rd, 2020. And, you know, right before the pandemic really was taking off. And it's kind of a little bit about the give and take of life. It's called From the Ashes. Solemn day in the neighborhood, like autumn I see color falling. Ain't supper time, but I'm coming home. I understand this brother's calling for his mama. Where's the honor? Protect and serve for who I wonder. Corruption, violence is common knowledge. A wall of silence, what they do it under. Narrative is good and bad, but we see the ugly behind the badge. Seems like the cameras is all we have to reflect the truth when it's been redacted. Brutality is the real infraction, so we'll praise the people on the streets in action through smoke grenades and police harassment. You kept your peace and raised hell with passion. Seeds you plant be everlasting. Brand new life rise from the ashes. These are the things that I can't imagine for the children born in the storm that's passing. Was a wind of change in our last breath. Last breath, last breath. Was a wind of change in our last breath. Last breath, last breath. May the seeds you plant be everlasting. Brand new life rise from the ashes. These are the things that I can't imagine for the children born in the storm that's passing. Was a wind of change in our last breath. Last breath, last breath. Was a wind of change in our last breath. Last breath, last breath. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, like spring I see the life again. Can't wait till summer comes around to see the berries ripening in the bushes on the land. Sundance Arbor, ain't it grand? Took a chance, made a stand. Started as a prayer, now you're in our hands. As I stare into my daughter's eyes in a place that's been so traumatized. I gasp at thoughts that grasp me, but you still make us so happy. My girl, this world can drag you down. We'll do our best to raise you, teach you how to live with love, show you how to pray too. Days you wish to cry or frown, those things they have their place too. Tears we shed are medicine, cause flowers need the rain too. Ooh. Seeds you plant be everlasting. Brand new life rise from the ashes. These are the things that I can't imagine for the children born in the storm that's passing. Was a wind of change in our first breath. First breath, first breath. Was a wind of change in our first breath. First breath, first breath. May the seeds you plant be everlasting. Brand new life rise from the ashes. These are the things that I can't imagine for the children born in the storm that's passing. Was a wind of change in our first breath. First breath, first breath. Was a wind of change in our first breath. First breath, first breath. And And that song is not yet on any album. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm gonna do with. I have a whole bunch of songs that need to be recorded, and some are like country, and some kind of have that hip hop vibe to them, and some have both, and some have one of the other, which is kind of what I do. And yeah, so this next song is based off of a book that my wife wrote, which became a New York Times bestseller in 2021, and we're very incredibly proud of all the work that my wife Tasha Spillett Sumner has accomplished with her writing career. And so this song is based off the book, and it's called "I Sang You Down from the Stars." We loved you before we met you, before we held you in our arms. We sang you down from the stars. And old folks tell us that, so babies make the choice. Who sings them down from the stars? Search the skies for your eyes and saw a shooting star. Led us to a fluffy eagle plume. Some turned to fall, gather what we sowed. You chose us as your first home. We loved you before we met you, before we held you in our arms. We sang you down from the stars. And old folks tell us that, so babies make the choice. Who sings them down from the stars? You arrived, family gathered far and wide, with medicines to keep your spirit strong. Among them was a stone, the land where we belong. We held you close and whispered in your ear. We loved you before we met you, before we held you in our arms. We sang you down from the stars. And old folks tell us that, so babies make the choice. Who sings them down from the stars? We loved you before we met you, before we held you in our arms. We sang you down from the stars. It's yet another unreleased song. So we sang We Sang You Down from the Stars, and the book is I Sang You Down from the Stars, which my wife you can find it at your local bookstore, wherever you sell books, even Amazon and stuff like that has it. It's a very beautiful book, illustrated by Michaela Goad, who is one of the greatest artists out there illustrating books right now. So it's a very good purchase for family, a good gift. I'm gonna sing another song that hasn't ever found a home on an album yet. It's called Desert Rose, and I wrote it after some soul searching, some trips. You know what I mean? I was in drove down to New Mexico, and yeah, I was kind of going through some stuff, as the lyrics suggest. It goes like this. Yes, I'm sorry, Mama. Guess I'm going through some things. Let them get the best of me sometimes. Try to put some time and space between this rock and old hard place. Pack my bags, travel through the night. There aren't too many things I own. Where I sing is where I'm home. I still need to find where I belong. The road did hold some answers, but it never held a key. 'Cause lights don't always shine where you can see. The sunset was beautiful. Stars were bright, the moon was full. It sounded like a song that said to me, sorry if I ever done you wrong. Wandered to New Mexico. Life threw me desert roads. Loved the scent, but had to let her go. A poet would have took the time to share a story in her eyes. All that came to mind for me was rain. Sweetgrass on the rear view left my prayers on the land. And I still miss the warmness of her hands. The sunset was beautiful. The stars were bright, the moon was full. It sounded like a song that said to me, sorry if I ever done you wrong. Sorry if I ever, sorry if I ever, sorry if I ever done you wrong. I remember driving through past like the Rocky Mountains and looking ahead and seeing this like beautiful landscape, and then looking in the rear view and the sun was setting, and it's like just as beautiful looking back as it was looking forward. And I thought to myself, like, that's definitely a song. There's a song there somewhere, and I think that's when I really started writing, putting together that song. And yeah, I'm gonna put together a country album. I just released a hip hop album. I'm very confusing for the music industry because like I kind of just do what I want to do. You know what I mean? And you know, I feel it's important to do that, to do what you need to do and what you want to do, and I also feel it's important to speak about the First Nation experience coming from a First Nations person. You know, I think we've had enough people trying to tell our stories, and we're more than capable of telling our own stories and carrying our traditions of storytelling forward into a modern with a modern style in this new era that we're in. And you know, the COVID has been difficult for us to gather. You know, I really miss being able to visit the communities, and that was one of my most favorite things, was just going to the res and playing a show and hanging out. You know, I really miss it. I miss it a lot, and I'm here at my res playing a show, so I guess, you know, that's also a good thing. This next song is it's called Just Us. I wrote it for a TV show called Amplify, which was on APTN, and yeah, they asked me to write a song for this television series, and at the time there was 2 high-profile cases going on in the Canadian justice system, what they call justice system, and both of the murderers of these young Indigenous people were found innocent, and it really angered me, and it sickened me, and it still does. But this song is about that, like how much faith is put into white men in black robes. Just like when they come to take the babies to residential school a long time ago, white men in black robes. And now when you stand before a judge, white man in a black robe typically, you know, gets to decide whether you're innocent or guilty. I find it a bit ridiculous. The song's called Just Us. They came in robes, they came with guns, they came with words from God above. So it was done with righteous love. Never felt like love to me. Bit my tongue, taste the blood, gotta feel what's to come. I know your scales just weigh me down, and I know justice, she ain't from this town. I know justice ain't from this town. So tell me she's blind, I tell you that's a lie. The system isn't broken, it just works how it's designed. So tell me she's true, I say only for you, 'cause I can't get away with the things that you can do. Look no further than the land that's beneath your feet, and how you legally possess it through violence and aggression. Control the narrative so your smiles become weapons, and the only stories heard are the lies and deception. When it's time to fill the ground, So make her look me in the eye. So it was done with righteous love. Never felt like love to me. Never felt like love to me. All is not forgotten when someone is forgiven. Words I say to soften up the hardness that I'm living, and I hate to say indifference is becoming my religion, but I haven't learned to pray in ways to satisfy tradition. When I think about identity, I think about my language, how my folks were taught it would be to my advantage. To learn a foreign tongue, they could not foresee the damage. Damn shame when it happens, you don't see it till it passes. So where's all the support for Nishnabemo in classes? Assimilation tactics left the room for us to practice, and I really wish I could adjust. Yeah, I really wish I could have just listen with my heart and not my ego. I was fragile, conditioned by the world to think my culture wasn't passed down, but I learned generosity. It's in my genealogy, so fuck all the bureaucracy and keep all your apologies. I know you're sorry, cause you're more lost than me. Your land's across the ocean and I'm right where I should be. And I reckon this damn nation will force reconciliation down the throats of our survivors and the people it's displacing. I know you're sorry, and now you call on me to fix the broken hearts created by your policies. And these are the things that I think I know I am, but a leaf on a tree that grows its roots in the ground like a seed that's sown in the dirt of the earth is where I was born. It's where I will return when this journey ends and I've earned what I've learned. So tell me to get over it. I'm so fucking over it. Steal everything in sight and teach me about private ownership, bleach everything you like and teach me about pride of ownership, bleach my inherent rights and tell me that I never owned this shit. As generations pass, you're like as if you never noticed it. While as kids committing suicide as a way out of the hopelessness. I know you're sorry. Say you're not to blame. Fill your heart to brim with guilt but not an ounce of shame. Break branches off of family trees and tell us times have changed, but the focus of this genocide at root remains intact. So instead of killing Indian kids, why don't we kill this Indian act? They say they wounded my soul. They say this land is their home. Dig up my ancestors' bones. But they can't silence my song. No, they can't silence my song. Sometimes it hurts to be indigenous, born in this nation. Not enough to talk about decolonization. In the battles with myself, I'm continually facing. Feel the stress of the world on my shoulders, I'm fading. But I ain't going out yet, cause it's just the outset. And I ain't making change if I'm rapping about an outfit. Unless it's that camo, intelligence is ammo. Modern day warrior, just call me Rambo. Not trying to be deceitful, cause mostly I'm peaceful, but getting sick and tired of being seen as unequal. So I'm waiting for the pitch as I'm stepping to the plate. They saying that we rich, but we live in second rate. Well, they don't like the truth, so that's what I'm coming with. Rapping for the youth, yup, that's who I'm running with. Don't represent a leadership, but represent empowerment. Working on the ground cause I have issues with the government who issue out apologies while sticking to the policy more definite than probably keeping us in poverty. Wanna tell me how to live and how to react to devastation of my culture, trying to keep it intact while living on the rules of the Indian Act. Indian agents were just racist, I'm just stating the facts. They took my identity, I'm taking it back. I am an Anishinaabe, I belong to the land. I don't belong to the queen, so as long as I dream, that means I sleep with a song that forever will be Sung from the heart, so whenever I speak, the truth comes out and it's setting me free. I don't belong to the queen, so as long as I dream, that means I sleep with a song that forever will be. Sung from the heart, so whenever I speak, the truth comes out and it's setting me free. And there's a lot that I carry, so much I wanna bury. Sometimes I wonder to myself, why can't I just be happy? I'm living with the memories that's running in my blood, loaded in my bones and buried in the mud. But music is my medicine, my life is the evidence. I realized that ever since my people called it prevalent, coming from the resi res with words of intelligence. And if I wasn't hellbound, they might say I was heaven sent. They say they wounded my soul. They say this land is their home. Dig up my ancestors' bones, but they can't silence my song. No, they can't silence my song. Way oh, 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 way oh. Yeah, go forget you can't then away my gun and dog. Way oh, way, yeah, go forget you can't. Need generation, I beg you, duck. Way oh, 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 way oh. I could never imagine the pain in the mother's heart when life takes a turn for the worse and creator's art becomes another canvas that will never be completed. I'm a few degrees away and 1,000 times defeated. My energy's depleted, but I want to stand and fight, swinging with the spirits that have traveled back into the light. I feel the tears and depression, fears and aggression, woven in society from years of oppression. The violence is normalized, silence is horrifying, truth is denied, and the fact isn't more dying. You don't have to tell me how you feel, 'cause I can see it in your eyes, and they don't have to prove to me that the pain is real, 'cause I could hear it in the cries. Well, it's a type of heartbreak that takes more than tears and time to stitch up any wounds and heal the scars that leave behind. A separation from the fam, segregation on the land. It was all part of the plan, and the blood is on their hands. It's all divide and conquer, colonize and slaughter, stabbing at the heart through the backs of our grandfathers. Now we see our daughters that are disappearing quickly, say it's through the cracks while ignoring all the history. Government's been scooping babies way before the 60s. When you legalize abduction, you legalize the misery. So now you see the mystery is really not too complicated. Justice is unequally distributed. My observation, money to be made while the kids are steady oscillating. Splitting up a family has now become an occupation, and it's been part of the occupation since residential schools enforced starvation. It's a nation with racism here since the start of it. Hard to let go 'cause it's carved in the heart of it. Relation to the land and our eyes, we're a part of it. Roots where I stand, I could never depart from it. They're telling me to let it go, the past is in the past. Some to forget about, there's better times to have. Well, it's the attitude that brought us to exactly where we are. Spinning tires in the mud, allowing fracking in the yard. Set fire to the water, we don't need it anymore. Poison all the medicines, we don't deserve a cure. It's all about the dollar and the monetary gain. So forget you in the treaties, from the oceans to the plains. And this is what they telling us in media. It's selling us stories of protectors that are protesting rebellious, protecting private sector. Spin the story, it's sincere. insidious. Barrels to a head, they won't be happy till they're rid of us. So how the Mounties sleep at night, rolling up and give it light. Post-traumatic stress arrest while violating treaty rights. So tell me how this differs from starving out the West. Moving out the Indians, they never know what's best. But I ain't saying follow me, by product of the colony. Speaking English on a beat, ignoring all the irony. Struggle with identity for most of my adulthood. I ain't saying this for the sake of trying to sound good. Just promoting honesty, it has become an anomaly. On a mission, honestly, how do I say this honorably? Solemnly, I swear to give the best of my abilities. Foolishly, I care about the people and their liberties. Set fire to the water, we don't need any more. Poison all the medicines, we don't deserve a cure. It's all about the dollar and the monetary gain. So forget you in the treaties, from the oceans to the plains, Miigwech bezindi wiego manjichigen no gom Leonard Sumner the indigenous Kaskagish Kamakakindunji. Thank you very much for listening to me at this online event. That's online little gathering that we're having. My name is Leonard Sumner from the Little Saskatchewan First Nation, located in the heart of the Interlake in Manitoba, and in Treaty 2 territory. And I am a descendant of Sousans and Richard Woodhouse, who are two signatories of Treaty 2. And, you know, I don't always agree with what happened with the treaties, but I believe the intent of our ancestors was of good heart, and that was never fully recognized and implemented. And the our spirit that is attached to those things is of from a good place, but the intent of the Canadian government was to just remove the Indian problem, right? And we're still here, so. You know, I hope everybody out there is staying safe, getting vaccinated, keeping our elders safe, and learning as much of the language as you can. That's all I have to say. Miigwech.
Ani, miigwech. Esna gimminwech geok. Abujugo gimminwe gamde toat. Kshmiigwech gamde jigejik. Na misa gigishtain. Abujugo gimminendag zok no geog abashajik. Kabzinchejik, Abjugo Geningi Mintan Kanawego got about Chagadek. That was very good. Really enjoyed that music. Thank you very much. Everybody really enjoyed that. And we are at the end of our festival here. So I thought we're going to close with a prayer. Ganesh Nabemtan, I'll start it off in our language. Miigwech Gemnido Keneginal Mojiang Mompi Gibson Chiang Kanon the Mankanuego Epichi Muguk Mandam Zanates Jigang Gimigwech and Mama Work Gemnido Mandak na Mego Benujink Epkagazot Nidabatan Bangi We can go Wizgo Kagwan Mandak Benujink Shashboga School Magic. No, it's not called Shimon Residential School. Kan pane kam jamin dana kabaje bak kabado da going skonu gomgong kano mage gomgong panesh kam jamin dana abde kuib shkozi me kuinag ended me yaznagat go me go nanga e shwebak. But you go eshkam ni bna banoji kagazok. We go kagnash ganda ge kaik. Mish manda mzana tesh jagan epichi mgak. We jno mageng kina kabado dagazot gandak. Nungo echige kaik. I talked a little bit about the effects of residential school, and that we never forget these children that are being found, that were buried in unmarked graves. The power of television and how we tell our stories about the things that have happened to our elders, our ancestors in residential school. We always keep them in our prayers. This is a really rough, tough time now for our brothers and sisters, and that we always keep them in our prayers, and we look after one another, because this does not only affect the students that went to residential school, this affects a lot of generations. So just to keep in mind that film festival has been very instrumental in telling some of these stories. And I know most recently we had a residential school survivor back home where I come from, did an interview, and he talked about all that happened when he was in residential school and how it was documented and how powerful this camera is in documenting some of the things that had happened with this gentleman, with his elder. And now I remember my granddaughter was watching this gentleman talking, and she recently took a trip to this school, a Spanish residential school, and she's only 8 years old, and she didn't realize the school was that close to home, and how it was documented through the news, CBC and all of that. And now to remember that television is also good that way, to teach our youth, our young people. And I just wanted to say Chimigwech for all the productions, all the television, I guess all the stuff that we learn from television, all the stuff that's happening in television. Without television, without screenwriters, without producers, we wouldn't be hearing all of this. So I say Chimigwech to everyone that was involved. Ke bugusen mash ma bugjem nido. Abdek je pne kui namame, pne kui mjogana na mandab chkeke. Pne kui debata na we nand wedzing. Minash kakmakwe abdek pne kui nonana. Naha Chimigwech chishingoket. Thank you very much for being here with us, and we will see you again next year.